Hey guys, Motorcar Nut here, and today we're talking about getting in your car and it doesn't start. Now we get in, put the key in the ignition, all the lights are on, and you go to turn it, nothing. Hold the brake, turn it, nothing. So that's basically called a no crank, no start. All right, that's not a cranking no start. This is not doing anything. And you put if you look up here, when you turn the keys, now if you were to turn the key and these lights would just go right off, all right, that can mean that your battery's dead. But this car, see the headlights are on, when you crank it, it's not doing nothing. So this is called a no crank, no start. All right, and believe it or not, I was making a series on this car, and this just did it in the garage, just like this. So they can do it anywhere. We got to figure out what it is. Now, the first thing I like doing, even though I said the battery's good, is to check to make sure you got voltage and, more importantly, amperage. So let's open this. All right. Now I'm going to check. Fast things you can do. You can check, make sure these are nice and tight. You can go now. There's a couple of things I want to tell you when you have a no crank, no start, is that it could be no starting, but you hear like bzzz, you hear like something like a relay buzzing. That could mean you have a low battery, low current, or it could be the relay. But I'm gonna do it faster for you guys, so you can cut out all the other checking the ignition, checking the relay, checking the fuses. We're gonna go right to the source, and I'm gonna explain it. What starts the car? A starter. Okay. Now a starter, I'm going to show you what it is. It has a big, thick lug like this that goes directly to the positive, and the starter itself grounds to the engine or transmission, usually the transmission. All right, and you got to make sure your terminals are nice and tight. All right, so we're going to do that first. All right, basically what I got here is an old school battery tester. What this does, it puts a load, not just checking for voltage. All right, you see it says it's good. You see that line right there is in the good. So now when you put a load on it, you gotta watch it. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's just at the below of the good, which is a good battery. If this was a bad battery, it could even show voltage, and as soon as you put the tester where it puts a load on it, it'll drop right to bad, and that could be a problem. So this, as I suspected, is not the problem. The battery is not the problem. Now on your car, wherever the starter is, you're going to have to go underneath and look. All right. So the first thing you're gonna see is, maybe I can get this better on the bottom, but you see this right here? This is power. This is directly to the battery. There's 12 solid volts. And this connector right here is called the S terminal, starter terminal. It's a low voltage wire. All right. That what it does is when you put the ignition on, because now you have power to the starter and it's grounded. So it's got its ground and its power. Now how does it make it turn? When you put the ignition key on, all right, voltage goes to this S terminal, and it creates a circuit which makes the motor spin. And as soon as you let go of that ignition switch, you know, that little bit that makes it start, as soon as you let go of it, there's no more power to that switch, but the car has already had started. So now what we're going to check, simple things first. All right, no sense checking if it's the ignition switch. No sense checking any wiring, anything all the way to the starter. We're going to check right to the source. Saves a lot of time. Now, we're going to you need a voltmeter. You can use a test light, but a voltmeter is better. Ohm meter, multimeter is better. All right, just to confirm, I have the positive to positive, negative to negative. It's 1224. This car's been sitting a couple days, so you know that's a little lower than normal, but that's not the problem. So now what we do, we take, you see it's a 1224. We take it and we put it on this terminal right here, the thick terminal, and you see it's still 1224. So we know we're good there. All right, and the ground wire. You can see the ground is right here to the transmission, and the starter is bolted to the transmission, so that's a perfect ground. How else you can do it? If you want, you can put this to make sure. Put this on, here, listen to the noise. Hear that? And go right to the starter. Come on. Hold on, let me just scratch it a little bit. All right, now listen. I'm just going to touch the starter. Hear that? So we got good ground. So now, what we're going to do, we're going to disconnect the S terminal. All right? And we're going to check, see if it has power when we turn the key on. All right, so we have hooked up the multimeter to volts, negative battery terminal, and you see the S terminal over here? It's just basically a one wire in that plug. I put a pin in there and I put the positive probe there. So now, we're going to go in the car. You can see it. I'll put it over here like this. Come on. What are we doing here? All right. Positive hooked up, negative hooked up. Now we're going to get the key. All right. You can see it's basically reading no voltage. That little bit is nothing. That's just from there. So now we're going to put the key in the ignition and we're going to turn it. All right, now it's on, right? It's not started. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it to the start position. You see that? It's showing 1168 because the lights are on and everything, but that's battery voltage. You see that? We'll do it again. So you shut it off, you put it on, you know, just everything on, but not a start. And then when you go to start it, let's do it again. When you go to start it, you see that? It's got battery voltage. So what's that say? Okay, that tells you right away that the ignition switch is good. All the wiring to the ignition switch to the relay is good. Everything, any kind of a fuse that had to interfere with the starter is good. So what do we got? We have solid ground, thick, solid, positive, and the starter terminal is working as it should. That concludes that the starter itself is no good. And this just happened. This car, I pulled it in, all right, after doing work to it, and went to pull it out, and it was dead. So that's the deal what we have right now. Starter just went. Now this starter, you know, this car has almost 150,000 miles on it. That starter kind of looks original. So that's about normal for this type of, you know, vehicle. And it doesn't matter what vehicle it is, you can test most cars like this. Most cars you can test like this. All right? So now we're going to make a video on how to change a starter on a Tiguan. But again, this procedure is not just for Volkswagen, it's for any car. All right, guys. Motor Car Nut, Please subscribe, hit that like button. Any questions pertaining to the video, leave them below. I answer all my questions. You guys have any ideas for future videos, just drop them in the comments. And if I can make them, I will. Thank you for watching, guys. See you next time.